Hi, I'm Christine from Valid. I want to give you some tips today about how to prepare for the transition to the NDIS. A lot of the problems that happen for people is because they've not had any support to get ready and prepared. So I want to give you a few. So hopefully some of them are useful for you. Do the things that help you and make you feel confident. You don't have to do them all if you don't feel you have the time or the energy, but just do what you can so that you can feel more prepared as you go into the NDIS. First one is, and I would recommend that this is the bare minimum you do. If you're not going to do anything else, do this. Prepare a list of all of the supports and services that you currently use. So what do we do on Mondays? What do I do on Tuesdays? Maybe we use something once a month, a social group or a disco, or overnight support in a residential respite house. Whatever it is, write it all down, because really, in a sense, those are the things you are going to need the NDIS planner to ensure are put into your funding package. Because if you forget something and you don't tell them about it, it won't be in your package and you won't be able to buy that thing anymore. So if you forget to get your continence aids program subsidy changed across into your NDIS package, you won't have any subsidy available to you. And the same with equipment. If you need maintenance of your equipment, if you don't have maintenance money in your package, then the statewide equipment program can't fix your equipment. Or they can, but you will have to pay for it yourself. So writing a list of all the things you do. It may be that you don't know whether or not they will fund support for the person to go to the disco or to the scouts or whatever, but put it down anyway, because it's worth having the conversation with them about why is it reasonable and necessary for them to have that support. Now, if you want to learn more about reasonable and necessary, we do have another video on what is funded and what's not funded. You might want to look at that. So, also add to your list of what you've got now the gaps. So what are the missing pieces that you would really love to have? And you may, as you're writing your what you have now list, go, oh, I need a new wheelchair, or I need some more respite. And yes, they do fund respite, but they just don't call it respite. It's called different jargon names. So add in the missing pieces to your list as well, because that will help you in what you're talking to the planner about. And don't forget to talk to them about the new things you might like to try, because those are things they might be able to support you with. So our next tip is talk to the services that you're currently using and ask them what they're going to provide under the NDIS. Talk to them, and also a lot of services have one of their own staff who can assist you with getting your thoughts together and getting prepared for the meeting. And so you could get that support from them, which will help you to be able to have enough information to feel confident and make sure you haven't missed something. The other thing, you want to talk to any services, even though you might not be using them now, or you are using them now, you need to ask them what fees and charges they may be charging under the NDIS. Because if you don't tell the planner that this service that I'd like to use is going to be charging us a fee for the art materials or the cooking materials or whatever, then the planner won't be able to consider whether the NDIS will fund that or not in their decisions. So it's good to ask services, what do they fund? It's also about your life. So my tip is that you keep the planner on track with this is your life, okay? We're talking about funding here to achieve the goals in your life, or if you're a unpaid carer, in your family member's life. So under the NDIS law, the Act, you have the right to what's called person-centred planning. It means the participant with disability should be the prime focus of how we do the plan and what we do to develop up a good plan, okay? It shouldn't be what's easiest for the planner, like, can you come to my office on Thursday at 3 p.m? No, that's planner-centred planning. We need the person-centred planning. So it is your right to choose when the meeting is, where the meeting is held, who else can come to the meeting. So if you want your key worker there, that's fine. If you want a case manager you're currently using, workers from agencies are fine to be involved in the planning. They just can't be there when you start the process of choosing what services you're going to buy the different things off, because that's a bit of a conflict of interest. But up until that point, you can have them there. It's also important for you to remember under the NDIS, you can choose the services that you buy, because the money no longer belongs to the agency or the organisation, it belongs to the participant. And if what you're doing changes, like my daughter has changed what she wants to do, her goals, so we have left one service and gone to a different one who does more of the types of programs in terms of art and all sorts of craft things like mosaics and things that she would love to do. And so the money follows the participant. It does not belong to the service. So remember, it's your choice who you choose to buy services off. Goals are very key. The NDIS, as in our other video on what is funded, fund what will help you achieve your goals. And sometimes we think, oh gracious, what's my goal? I don't know. And sometimes people can't tell us their goal. But the people around them will know what they love and what they don't like. People around them will know what works best for them often. But where possible, we always want to look at the goals from the participant's view about what they want in their life, even if they can't tell us. We know people want to be well and safe and have good quality care, don't we? So that would be the basis of what we would be looking for. So don't get too worried about the goals. And another tip is, if a person can't tell you what their goal is, then you can just write a likes and dislikes list. So it might be that they don't like people touching them without asking permission. They might not like certain types of movies because and if the workers are going to be taking them out to the movies, it's good for workers to know what they like and what they don't like. So they might not like violent movies, or they might love violent movies. Whichever it is, it's very useful to have that information in a likes and dislikes list. And you start from there with the goals, because at the end of the day, the NDIS goals are usually quite broad. So to do things in the community that I enjoy, that's all you really need. And then you can try new things, you can change things as need be, and it doesn't lock you into anything too narrow. Also, before you get to your planning meeting, it's really important for you to think about a couple of things. Who do you want to be at the meeting? Do you have a tricky situation where at the moment you've got some things funded that you know the NDIS might not do? You might need to take an advocate with you from one of the many advocacy services across the state, and there is a list of advocacy services on the Valid website if you'd like that. You also could just take another family member or a friend. I tell you what, it's always really valuable to have another set of ears who can take notes, and when you get out of the meeting go, did I remember to tell them about that? Well, the other set of ears can support you with that type of thing, because this is rushed sometimes, and it's very emotional because it's about your life for a whole year. So another set of ears, they don't need to know lots about the NDIS, they just need to be there to support you. But make sure if you do take someone along that you tell them what the role you want them to play. If you don't want them to say anything and only to take notes, then you need to have that discussion with them. If you want them to take over, if you get upset, then you need to tell them and give them permission for that. Because people can be well-meaning and they can actually bump in and start telling your story without permission because they think they're helping. So make sure you do talk to them about what role you want them to play. The other things that you do need to think about before the meeting is because extra funding needs to go into your package through the NDIS if you want them. Do I want a support coordinator to help me manage my NDIS package? Think about that. More information on the role of support coordinators can be found on the NDIS website, or pop us an email at valid at Christine@valid.org.au, and we can send you that information if you need it. Also, we have another video that is about the management of the money options. Now, that goes through the different ways you can manage part or all of your package of money. And one of those things is plan management. And you need to have decided how are you going to manage your package before the meeting, because in some cases the money for that option needs to be put into your package so that you can then buy a plan manager to help you with payments. So I'd encourage you to actually watch our other video on NDIS funding management. Thanks for listening.